So what I'm going to be doing today is replacing some suspension parts inside the Yukon, more notably the alignment cams on this thing, because some of the pins have gotten pressed out, and it's just been causing alignment issues on this thing. So I have all the buckles, or I think they're called buckles, alignment cams, the cams, the pins, the bolts, all of that to go in this thing to prep it for an alignment to be done on it, and tires being put on it as well. I've got it for the most part jacked up. I need to jack it up a little bit more because this wheel still isn't free spinning. But then after that, we're going to go into how to replace these cams, the pins, all that. Alright, so after you spend close to an hour trying to find even just one of your impact batteries, you can proceed to taking the wheel off. Also, that being after you get the vehicle up on jack stands. Slow and steady. It's not something you want to rush. You want to make sure you get the proper lift points on the vehicle, because the last thing you want to do is crush something that's not meant to be crushed. I'm more likely going to be doing one side at a time. And I'm going to try and get as good of a view on this as I can. So what we're going to be replacing today is this bolt, this cam, or adjustment cam, this one on this side as well with that nut, and then we're going to be pressing in these little nubs that you see right there. That's the alignment cam pin. We're going to be doing that for both sides, so, or technically all four sides, because you got one here, and then the same on the other side. Alright, so at this point you may be thinking, alright, so I just need to break loose some nuts, and that's all I'm going to have to do. And you may be tempted to reach for the first thing you find nearby that has a long handle on it, but it's one thing that you also want to consider is that you need the right tool for the job. And if you're trying to break loose some nuts that you can't really get to with an impact, you don't want to use this big shiny thing, because this is a precision instrument that is meant to torque to a certain spec. And if you just use it as a breaker bar, I'm not going to say you're going to break it, but it ain't going to work the way it's supposed to. Whenever you need it to actually do its job, it may not do it correctly. So you instead get a breaker bar. This is one that I have had inside the back of my garage, or portable garage, for a few years now. As you can tell, it's rather rusty, because at one point it was nice and clean. And then you should be able to take it and break that nut loose. And remember, this is also technically how you do your alignment. So before you attempt this job, or any job that deals with your suspension, you need to make sure that you have the ability to get an alignment done afterwards, because it will eat up your tires. Well, sometimes plans change and you come across a 21mm 3/8, and you just go with that if it'll work. Oh yeah, that's the one that's attached to it. Alright, so once you start getting these loose, you're going to want to just completely take these off, because at least with the kit that I have, we're not going to be reusing those. From there, well, I would say hammer time, but apparently not. So we're going to take these outer cams off. There you go. Now I would say mark it so it goes back in the same exact place. But as you can tell, I'm a little bit late for that. So I'm just going to take that out. That comes completely out. This one should also come completely out. And then you can just see, that's how the whole thing actually works, is it rides on that little thing, and the radius that this hole allows changes with accordance of this bolt, because once you turn it, it's going to change that. So from this point, technically, I'm going to want to pull some of these lines off just so that I don't pinch them. It may not be 100% necessary, at least for what I'm currently doing, but we'll see. At some point, I would like to replace these lines with some stainless steel braided ones, but for now, it's just not really necessary, which is fine. I mean, you do what you can, realistically, because, you know, some people will tell you, oh, you need the best of the best. You need what you can afford and what you can justify. Put very big emphasis on the "and" part of that, because I could justify having a huge supercharger on this thing at all times. But can I afford it? God, no. See, let's get in a little bit closer, or a lot of bit closer. I need to get it lined up with this, so I want to get a pretty decent amount of play on that, but then have this be on the back side and then the pin be on the front side. And as you can tell, that did not work. Alright, so I'm going to try this again, but with using the nut from this camber kit. That way there's a little bit less play. There we go. That's a lot better. So now I want to tighten that up just a little bit more. A little bit less so I can get a little bit better. Alright, so I found a way that worked for me that may not work for you. It may work for you. I am unsure. But in the meantime, regardless, I will show you what it did. So to start out, I reinstalled the bolt. I went ahead and just did this with the old bolt because I didn't want to possibly mess up these new ones or anything like that. Let's see. Come on. You gotta get it at the right angle whenever you're going into here. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Perfect. get that up there. And then, hey buddy. Alright. Then from there, install the other one. And then this whole cam adjustment bracket will just go on like so. So the way that I wound up doing it is I tightened this whole cam adjustment onto the assembly without the control arm in place. That way I could have some support from the outside. And the reason why I used the old one instead of the new one was because I didn't want to risk possibly messing up any of my new hardware, because I realistically was not sure whether or not this would work. But you adjust that over like that, and the way that I did it more so was to try and keep it about right there so that it had as much pressure from side to side as possible, right on the edge. And then from there I just strung together some nuts, bolts, washers, and a small socket. So what I did was I just strung together a bolt, a nut, and then a washer, and then put a socket on the end of that so it has a little circular end on it so that it can apply even pressure to this socket, or I guess technically even pressure to the little press-in fitting. And then from there I just took a adjustable thumb wrench to this one right here, and this 13mm ratcheting wrench right there in the center, and then use the bolt itself to press this out, have this even pressure applied on the outside, but press this pin out so that it would actually press in there. Because I just wasn't having luck with the locking plier method that they state in the instructions for it, and I can show you what they have on there. These installation instructions, you're supposed to just basically hammer out the old one with a hammer and a punch, and then press in the new one with locking pliers. But I just wasn't having luck with that, so tried something else. It worked out. The original method may actually be better for you, so it could change per person. So whatever works for you, just do that. No point in making a job hard if it's already kind of a pain in the ass in the first place. Alright, so let's see. It's kinda lined up. Yeah. Don't want to do that. Alright. So from there, you want to get that lined up, and then get the bolt started in. It's just kind of a pain in the ass to get this thing lined up in the first place, but any way that you can, go for it. There we go. Perfect. But it doesn't necessarily help that it got lined up in the wrong way. So from there, that has to come up right there. Perfect. So from there, we take the other plate, or the other camber plate, kind of push it on, and then install that nut. There it is. And then I'll just get it kind of loosely started. So then I'll normally just try and get it set up just to where it's tightened up enough, because you may be able to kind of see this one's up a lot higher than this one is. So I want to take this wrench, kind of bring them both up to that same level. So I'm going to want to tighten this against itself. So then I'll take the actual torque wrench first. I'll set it to spec, or at least just a low spec, so I can get them tightened to the same amount. And I'm going to say for now, I'll just do 50 foot-pounds. But I'll tighten that up. There we go. And then I'll just do there we go. And then I'll just do the same for the other side. Alright, now I'm going to look up the actual torque spec for them. Alright, so apparently the torque spec is 140 foot-pounds, which to me would kind of make sense, because you don't really want this thing going anywhere unless if somebody is doing alignment on it. So I'm going to start off with the kind of easier one, because I can just put my weight down onto this. So that shouldn't go anywhere. And now the same. Probably gonna need to stand up for this one so I can get good leverage on it. There we go. So that is one side done. Alright, so on this side I should be able to kind of show how you want to line it up first, or more so the basis of it. So you can see how before I loosen it, that's right there. I want to be able to remember that, just because normally you would want it to go back in the exact same place it was in. But this side had a little bit too much outwards camber. I honestly can't remember whether that's supposed to be positive or negative camber, but it's one. So anyways, same way as before, except this time I'm going to try and just do one side at a time. Or, yeah, so just one side at a time. So like I was saying, you just go ahead, push this one out. And because that other one is still in place, I shouldn't have any issues with this moving. It also helps that the other side is still attached and bolted up and everything. So take these new parts, place that right there, and I'm gonna want to try and essentially sneak this in here. There we go. Come on. That way way, this whole process is hopefully a lot easier. Oh man, what's that held up on? No clue. But regardless, that's getting tightened up. So I can take this, go ahead and start that nut, get that tightened up as much as I can, and because that's already past what the other one can handle, or the depth of it, oh yeah. There we go. Alright, so now at midnight I've gotten the camber set up basically good enough to go to tire shop, get some new tires and get an alignment done, and that's basically a wrap. So looking forward to it. I hope I don't have any more vibration afterwards, but we'll see. So that's it.